GladrapChannel. You're with Cairo George and Sam Rapira. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you both doing?
How you doing? Yeah, I'm really good, really good. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm good too. I'm out here at a wedding expo. Me and my lady just done some shopping for a big day.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, massive fight we had last Friday. Sam, I know I saw you there, at the stadium at the Mahatma Gandhi Center. And Cairo, I'm assuming you saw the fight live on Sky TV?
Yeah. Saw the pit fight live. Man, what an inspirational fight that was, man. That was mana. In Māori, we call that mana.
Exactly. It was good to see, two of New Zealand's best sort of go at it. We had the NZPBA champion, Shaye versus the IBO Oceania super welterweight champion Bowyn Morgan going at it. So I just wanted to get your thoughts. Sam, what do you think of the fight?
It was a great fight. Exactly the type of fight that you want even just casual fans to see because it just shows what our sport's about. About two guys putting everything on the line. It's a high risk fight, lots of action, exciting styles, and it was just a great example of boxing and what pro boxing is all about.
And George, I know you mentioned Mana. It was two warriors going at it. It looked like it could go either way at any time. How did you see it? Like, did you find it exciting to watch it?
Oh yeah, man, it was back and forth action. Both guys watching the fight. I was thinking to myself, that's the type of fight that I love to watch and see. Not really the type of fight I like to be in, man. That kind of fight's going to change years of both of their lives. What a battle, man.
So what did you think of the fight? Like it started off strong. Like it looked like Shaye took some hits, and it looked like he almost was out of there actually. But he seemed to sort of find the strength to continue and keep going. And Bowyn even rocking Bowyn at times. So how'd you see it? Like how'd you score it? Did you see Shaye winning at the start, or did you see Bowyn winning, or how'd you assess it?
I think that there was the right outcome.
Overall, I thought, yeah,
Sorry, you go, Greg.
yeah, no, I was just about to say the same thing as you. That was the right outcome. I thought some of the rounds
Sorry, George, I think you're cutting off. Sam, why don't
was
yeah. Sam, why don't you give it a go? I think Kara's connection is playing up a bit.
Okay.
uh,
Um, yeah, yeah, it was the right result, but it never looked like um, like Shay was looked like he was always in there. It'd always come back with some shots, and like it was a really
is it still
entertaining fight. Awesome styles from both of them. They're equal fireworks. Shay reminds me so much of myself. So, like what I saw is like there's a certain way to fight a fighter like Bowyn. Standing and swapping punches with Bowyn is probably not the greatest idea, but that's how Shay and I both fight. We like the smartest thing to do with someone like them, like Bowyn, is fight long, which is not really our things. And like, so I guess just kind of like what Cairo was talking about. It's about mana. It's about like about standing your ground. And like sometimes I was the same. I'd pick the Warriors way rather than probably what's smart. And like no matter what, it equaled an awesome fight, and I know Shay will be proud of his performance, and it was an awesome fight, and but that'd be like such a good fight that was like a lot of people have been waiting for, and it shows the level of Shane's show now that he got to put that fight on because it was a big fight. It was a really big fight. It's to me that that's the main event fight right there.
Yeah, Kara. So how did you assess Shaye Brock's game plan going, sort of going toe to toe with Bowyn?
sometimes that's the sort of fight you got to fight against those sort of guys, because Bowyn, if you give him too much respect and move away from him, sometimes he can just build momentum off that and just keep coming at you. So I thought that he was doing the right thing by standing there sometimes and just fighting with him, and it made for a real exciting fight for the crowd that were there too. But defensively, myself, wouldn't have been the type of fight that I would have liked to have been in, going head to head like that. I would have preferred to fight a smarter style. I know Sam, he's been involved in a lot of really tough fights like that, and it's exciting and stuff, but it's exciting for the people to watch, but you also take a lot of damage in those sort of fights. And as entertaining it is for other people, sometimes you got to do what's best for you.
That's right, because it did look at moments that Shaye was rocked and, sort of almost saved by the bell at times. But where do you get that strength to keep going? Like, where do you think he got that determination just to, even though being rocked, to keep just going forward?
Sorry, is that me, bro? Was that for me?
Yes, Sam, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I just think everyone's got a different reason why they fight and a different thing that drives them. Everyone's got, if you've heard them talk about what's your why, like everyone's got their own why, and I've got my own reasons why I do this and why I did this, and like once you've got your why, that's exactly what pushes you through those moments where it's horrible, there's moments where it's like probably the last thing in the world you feel like doing, but do it just for your why, and I don't know what Shaye's why is. He fights for his family or for why he does this, what he does, but whatever it is, was strong because it pushed him through some hairy moments.
So I guess the question is now, New Zealand boxing fans were gifted by seeing such a fight. So what's next for them? What do you think's next for? Because I know Shaye was sort of talking about maybe contemplating retirement. Do you think maybe that's the right step for him? I mean, he showed a lot of skill and he showed a lot of heart in there. Do you think? I don't know. Do you feel he still has much to offer the sport?
Definitely, like if he wants to do it, yeah. If he wants to do it, for sure. If he's just doing it, thinks he should, or financially, I'm not sure. But like, if his heart's there, for sure, he can. People can fight a lot longer than maybe it says on paper, and he's only young anyway. He hasn't been in heaps of wars, like he can. If he desires it, he can go. He can carry on for sure, and he can still do some really great things. I know he'll learn a lot more from that fight than he would have learned from all of his knockout wins and all that. I was the same. I always took a lot more out of my losses than I did from my wins. So for sure, if he wants to, is not only wants, but it's something that he desires. He has to desire it. So that's the only factor.
I know. Yeah, Cairo. So what do you think? You think Shaye has still more to offer?
Oh, he's definitely got stuff to offer, but it just comes down to him personally and whether he wants to do it and what the reason why he's doing it. And Sam touched on it before on getting through those tough times and fights. Knowing your why in those fights. Sam, man, he's got one of the biggest hearts in this country for fighters, man. He's the man. So he knows all about that, and Shaye showed that he's got a strong why as well. So it's really up to him if he's still really interested in it, still enjoying it, then he should carry on. But if he's at the point where he's not enjoying fighting anymore, then maybe he should finish up, and he'd make a good mentor and coach anyway. Even if he finished competing, he could still be a mentor coach for guys coming up.
Sam, I know you've announced your retirement from the sport, and you sort of told me backstage that you were sort of at peace, with your retirement. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, totally. Like when I retired May last year, and I could still, every time I went to boxing, I found myself, I was watching the fights, I was sitting there, start shadow boxing, and I'd start, I hadn't really let it go. I hadn't really let it go in my own mind, where I went to that show. I went to the New Zealand, the National Northland Golden Gloves with the amateurs a few weeks ago, and I was sitting there and I was like, "This is the last." Watching them warm up, I was like, "Man, I was totally happy that I wasn't doing." I was like, "This is the last thing I feel like doing," and that's when I actually accepted in my mind that I'm done. I'm finished, and I had realised that I was over it where I hadn't let it go earlier. And the result of my last fight, it showed that I didn't have that same sort of I didn't have the same sort of thing driving me. So exactly, I'm at peace with retirement now. I've actually accepted that I'm done with that, so I was happy.
And Cairo, I know you got a big fight coming up in Singapore. Why don't you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, man. So I'm still at the stage in my career where I'm enjoying fighting. I'm enjoying competing. I'm enjoying grinding it out with the boys. I miss Sam a lot. Me and him both travel to Auckland to train under law. And I get a lot of inspiration from Sam because it's hard enough for me getting up to Auckland from Hamilton, and this guy's got more than twice my trip. So I get a lot of inspiration from Sam, man. You're the man, Sam. You're a big inspiration for me.
Thanks, brother.
And when's the
But
fight in
yeah, the fight,
Singapore? Yeah.
yeah, I'm fighting uh, lightweight Indonesian champ. I think it's a good. Before then, on this event, August, so I could be fighting New Zealand before Singapore as well.
And do you think there's a chance maybe, Cairo, that we'll see you in the ring with Bowyn Morgan at some stage?
Yeah, man, those guys fight a slightly heavier weight division than me. I'm fighting at super lightweight at the moment, but if the fight makes sense, man, let's do it. Financially and in terms of ranking stuff, if the fight makes sense, then hell yeah, man, I'm keen. I'm in.
And as you said, you would fight a different way to Shaye, right? You wouldn't sort of do the toe-to-toe thing with Bowyn. You think that's the wrong strategy to do that against Bowyn?
No, it's like the bull and the matador. I'd be the matador in that fight.
Got it. That's a good way to put it. And just lastly, before you leave, I need to get your predictions for the Joseph Parker versus the Dillian White fight. So, Cairo, if you don't mind going first.
But that's a real 50-50 fight.
I agree.
Joseph Park and Dylan White both kind of putting everything on the line. I mean, if whoever wins is pretty much right back in title contention for a world title, and whoever loses kind of has to go back to the building themselves up again. So, real 50-50 fight, and a lot to lose and a lot to gain for both of them. Real interested in that fight too. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Cairo. And Sam, what do you think?
Man,
Excited about
it's
it?
such an awesome fight. It's such an awesome fight. I'm surprised that they put that fight off. Coming off their loss to Joshua, I thought they'd take a tune-up. Well, not an easy fight, but more manageable fight. They've jumped straight into a tough one. I think it's a very ambitious fight to jump straight back into, but just like we talked about before, it depends on who wants it more. That's the biggest factor, man. It's the biggest factor in fighting is who wants it more. I've seen so many people overcome so many different advantages, like a guy that's not as strong, or a guy that's not as fit or as experienced, but the other dude just wanted it more. So, that's the biggest factor. Who wants it more? And and unfortunately, man, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence with this one, totally 50-50. It all depends on what happens between now and then with training and who wants it more. So I can't say, but one thing I know, I will not miss that fight. It's gonna be an awesome fight. It's such a good fight.
I completely agree. I think it's a 50-50 fight. They've both fought similar opponents. I mean, they fought some of the same opponents in the past, and I know Dillian White has done a quicker job on them. So, he's a dangerous fighter. I think people are underestimating how dangerous Dillian White actually is. I mean, and the way he's put Lucas Brown down, it could be trouble. So,
For sure.
but
And
yeah,
so the guys that they have fought the same guys. Dillian White's got him out there earlier, but it means nothing. Styles make fights, and his style might suit Joe real good, or vice versa. That's the exciting thing. No one really knows. it's a sort of fight that it'd be interesting to see what the odds are. But with betting, but it really is. There's so many variables, and I really don't know who I'm going to pick for winning it.
I
agree
think
with
yeah,
Sam.
yeah. I think if he beats Dillian, it's a complete. He has a really good chance of getting that rematch, maybe with Anthony Joshua. I mean, do you think that's
Yeah,
possible?
yeah, definitely. The thing is with pros, bro. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. So like at the end of the day, if it's a financial plus for everybody, then it'll happen. There's been so many fights that probably shouldn't have happened because of like promoters who didn't agree or what. There were so many things that thought that'll never happen. If it makes money, it makes sense. It'll happen. So, but if he beat Dillian White and then there'd be a demand for it for sure, it'll happen.
Cairo, quickly, if I could even talk to you just about that Jeff Horn fight, what were your thoughts on that? With Terence Crawford.
Yeah, Terence Crawford just showed his level, man. I think he's the best boxer in boxing at the moment. He's like the Floyd Mayweather of today's era, and he just showed his level because Jeff Horn's the real deal, man. But Terence Crawford just showed that his level's above everyone else. I think Jeff Horn is just as good as every other guy in that division, but Terence Crawford, I think he's just a level above everyone else, and he showed it in that fight, man.
You think he'll be back stronger than ever?
Jeff Horn. Yeah. Oh, he'll take a lot from that fight, man. The experience of being in there with a guy like Terence Crawford, and he was competitive enough, man. Like he wasn't exactly getting a real bad beating throughout it. Some of the rounds were pretty close, and I thought that it was stopped a little bit early as well. So he can hang his head high on that performance, and I'm sure he'll come back well. There's a bit of talk about Anthony Mundine, which Sam just touched on. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. So hopefully he can get that big payday and fight a guy like Anthony Mundine. He deserves a big payday like that, and both of them can make a lot of money. So that fight might make sense.
Well, it might make sense, Sam, but would that interest you to see a Horn versus a Mundine fight?
Yeah, bro, I'd pay to watch that. I'd pay to watch it. Like Jeff would be my favorite, but I'd watch that one. I'd be interested for sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. It was a momentous fight for New Zealand, so I thought it would be good to get the opinion of the other best in New Zealand as well. So thank you for taking the time and appreciate it. Thanks for your thoughts.
Thanks
For sure. Do, bro. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for catching up. Say hello to your family, Sam.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.